Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
Man, I suck with lighting. Let's do it, guys. Oh god. No, we're good. Hey, Miriam Margoyle, or you guys, I definitely Margolyes, Miriam Margolyes, top 10 moments. Sure, she is from. I know her in Balto. I said this before. The first time I knew, I recognized this woman, and I know she's in other stuff I'd seen, but she's the grandma in Balto. That's how I originally know her from. Okay, sorry. And so to hear her speak not family friendly is like a shock to me, which makes it even better. I hope you guys are all doing well. My name is Connor. If you're new, original link to the video, top of the description. Below that, link to the Discord if you want me to react to more videos like that, or to what you... Easier for me to see your reactions. Let's go. That was a train wreck.
I knew because I was sharp that she was going to give me an internal examination. I just knew that.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 outrageous Miriam Margolyes moments.
I don't want to upset people because the whole thing is life is but it really is. It's terrible. Sorry. And we've... Oh. No. I know.
Before we begin,
that was some... Oh.
And we've... Oh.
No. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Easy content, let's go.
For this list, we're looking at the most shocking and spectacular things Miriam Margolyes has ever said and done. Let us know in the comments what your favorite moment is. Number 10, onions.
Oh, good, breakfast.
While journeying around Scotland in a large camper van, Alan Cumming hands Miriam a breadboard with just an onion and a few slices of cheese on it. Cue Miriam taking a bite out of the raw onion as if it's an apple, while Alan looks on in shock.
Yeah, a bit of cheese, a bit of onion, because people are funny about onions.
I love you.
We're sure he's seen her do this before, but watching anybody stuff a whole onion into their mouth is something that'll always be strange. Luckily, it's a red onion rather than a white onion, meaning it's much less capable of making you cry. It might still do this, but if you're an old hand at devouring whole onions...
This is not her first time doing this, you can tell.
As Miriam is, you might find yourself immune to its tear-inducing properties.
I know they do make your breath smell, but it's onion.
Number 9. Scorsese. Margolyes appeared in Martin Scorsese's 1993 drama The Age of Innocence, and she's shared a few anecdotes about her time on set with one of the world's most esteemed film directors.
They were slumped, they were tired, they were fed up, and I thought, I've got to do something to cheer them up.
After a long day of the crew checking over the costumes of the entire cast, Margolyes went on last and decided she wanted to brighten their mood. She did this by stripping down and flashing everybody in the room, including Scorsese.
And so I stood up there and I just lifted up my top and tore off my bra.
She also had a few choice comments to make about Winona Ryder, followed up with Stephen Fry sharing yet another anecdote about Miriam getting her kit off at work.
I just gave them to them and it made them happy.
Number 8. Footlights.
I feel embarrassed because it was 60 years ago and I should have got over it. But I haven't. Right. And I thought, well, I'll make money out of it.
Huge numbers of the UK's most decorated comedians have come through the Footlights, Cambridge University's amateur dramatics club. The Pythons, Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie, David Mitchell and Robert Webb, and many other foremost comics not only attended Cambridge, but also got into the Footlights, such as its stranglehold on British comedy. Miriam Margolyes, on the other hand, had no time for the group.
They didn't like me. They didn't like women getting attention. It was, you know, in the 60s.
She appeared in many Footlights productions and even met John Cleese and Graham Chapman, but has talked about how awful she found them and how they were rude to her because she was a woman and because she was funnier than them.
And it was John Cleese and Graham Chapman, who's dead now, so I'm not supposed to say anything against him, but he was horrid.
What?
When he was alive, he was horrid, to me.
Number 7, DiCaprio. Margolyes also had a role in Baz Luhrmann's 1996 version of Romeo and Juliet, which starred a young Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. Leo was only in his early 20s at the time and already on his rise to superstardom.
He was a bit smelly because it was very hot in Mexico.
But he still wasn't too famous to listen to the sage advice of Miriam, who took him aside and told him that he needed to wash himself more. She later explained this anecdote on This Morning, saying that the heat during filming wasn't helping Leo's BO.
You have to be careful. Now, you're slim, it doesn't matter so much. And he was young and slim, but I don't think he washed for weeks. And after a while, you notice it.
But she's still dishing out similar tips, confessing to telling...
She seems like the awesome grandma or aunt or mother that'll just, in the most non-insulting way, tell you the most blunt things, and I think that's an awesome quality.
One of the This Morning's
to have in some people in your life.
Employees the very same thing, which his mum apparently wasn't happy about.
I was telling the lovely boy Dylan, who looks after me here, that he's got to wash, every bit. Every bit.
Number 6.
Like, she's the one who seems like in the nicest voice, like, hasn't seen you in a year, be like, you're fatter than the last time I saw you.
You had a bit of a moment with the Queen, didn't you?
Well, I have talked about this before on television, and I feel sort of awkward saying it again. But
imagine being told to stop talking by the Queen, of all people. Though Her Majesty was known for her sharp wit, she was still generally polite to her subjects. Not so for Miriam, it seems, who got a stern telling off from the monarch. Along with some others, Miriam was invited to Buckingham Palace to meet the Queen as part of British Book Week.
And I said, I said, I'm the best reader of stories in the whole world. And she went...
Unfortunately, she didn't seem too impressive compared to her fellow guests, and the Queen was more interested in talking to them instead. But when Miriam also wanted to talk to the guest, the Queen made her annoyance known.
And I said, standing next to him, really, how fascinating, I didn't know that. And she turned to me and said, be quiet. Which she had every right to do.
Number 5, the Tories.
Just her subjects. Hey, love the Queen, rest in peace, okay? But just hearing that, like his subjects.
I've had the phrase word of the day since the 60s.
I mean, the irony...
That's where I belong,
The
Never
last
one
leg.
to keep her opinions to herself, following the December 2019 general election, Miriam was one of the guests brought onto Channel 4's The Last Leg to talk about the fallout. Like the other guests and hosts, Miriam is left-wing, and she was also a member of the Labour Party. She started by railing against the country's Leave voting contingent and went on to let us all know, in no small detail, what she thinks of Boris Johnson.
Miriam, did you watch the results last night?
No, I didn't. I watched the exit result at the beginning, and then I went to bed.
Right.
Like many, she thought Jeremy Corbyn should have taken a firmer Remain stance at the time and was advocating for him to step aside. And she doesn't like Russell Crowe either.
The funny thing is, so when he was on the show in 2016, Russell Crowe was sitting next to him, and...
Well, he's a bugger too.
Number 4, cavity search. A cavity search might be many people...
I heard he can be quite... I don't like talk. What do I know? It'd be annoying if you only know so much. But I heard Russell Crowe can be. I don't know. Why am I acting like I'm a close friend?
Number 4, cavity search. A cavity search might be many people's worst nightmare, and though Miriam wasn't too excited by the prospect, she was still more prepared for it than most.
And so, I tore it off the windscreen. And I said, you've got a dick that small. Because I thought the best thing is to insult him as quickly as possible.
Upon getting a parking ticket in Shaftesbury Avenue when she stopped on double yellows, Miriam went about berating the copper responsible, which he wasn't very happy with.
Double yellow?
She was arrested and taken down to the station, where the police decided that the mints in her bag were an illegal substance.
And I knew because I was sharp, that she was going to give me an internal examination.
Preempting the strip search, Miriam took off all of her clothes before the police could tell her to do so in preparation for the intimate examination.
That's great.
And she came back in and she said, "You've been here before."
Hey.
I said, "I have not been here before."
Number 3, drug drop. Miriam owns a house right on the coast of Dover, which she says is the nearest house to France on the UK mainland, and she leases it out.
Are you aware that it's been used as a drop for criminals to get rid of their drugs?
And then, one year, she was contacted by the police about the property because it was apparently being used by a drug gang. Shockingly, the gang were using Miriam's house to get rid of their narcotics, including flying a helicopter down to land on the roof.
Something like £30 million worth of...
What? No, it wasn't like a little thing. This was a massive...
What?
When the police did catch up with them, the bust was massive, with tens of millions of pounds of substances being kept there. And even Miriam herself wasn't above suspicion.
All the people online said, "Oh, she must be in it. You know, she's part of the gang."
Oh, yeah.
And they were calling me Miriam Escobar.
Number 2, Lawrence.
What was I gonna say now? That's why I need to say it.
Olivier.
Remember when I was young,
Yeah. I'm so surprised. Like, the one thing talking about, like, drug seizures is, like, when talking about drugs, it's like the one case where we use kilograms or grams, and then to hear them say pounds. Sorry. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Laurence Olivier.
Remember when I was young, I met Laurence Olivier.
Graham Norton asked Miriam whether she ever gets starstruck, especially considering she's worked in the industry for such a long time and met so many A-listers. She says that even she isn't above getting nervous when she meets one of her idols, including meeting Laurence Olivier when she was very young.
And I remember so distinctly that I started to cream in my knickers. I could feel it. I went all funny.
As always, she doesn't mince her words
No!
and talks very candidly about how she felt upon meeting Olivier.
Oh, Jesus, no.
Her words and talks very candidly about how she felt upon meeting Olivier, one of the most lauded thespians in history.
I honestly don't think I've ever been more uncomfortable in my life.
Neither Gemma Arterton nor Matthew Perry could believe what came out of Miriam's mouth that evening.
But I think that's a tribute.
No, it's no greater compliment, Miriam.
Number 1, American Soldier.
That was before I was a lesbian. I was just... I was sorting myself out. Yes.
Perhaps even more explicit than her anecdote about Olivier was this moment, also on Graham Norton, in which Miriam was joined by Stanley Tucci and Jimmy Carr.
And I said, "Would you like to follow me to my college and I'll suck you off?"
She tells another story about her youth at Cambridge when, while cycling, she encountered an American GI in an open-top car and offered to show him a good time.
Jimmy. I thought I was being a good girl because a bad girl would have had intercourse.
With a random stranger from the street.
The soldier certainly didn't decline Miriam's invitation, going back with her, and was then bold enough to ask if he could return and bring some friends.
Anyway, after it was all over, he said, "Could I come back next week? Because I've got some friends here."
It was all a bit too much for Tucci's American sensibilities. Shocked to hear the things Miriam came out with.
Especially because she's Balto grandma to me. What the hell? Miriam. All right, I love you guys. Hope you're all doing well. The last two, they got me. See you guys next time. Bye. Jesus Christ.